All right, there we go. We are live. All right, guys, today we are going to go over enhancement tools in order to clean up eyes, red eyes, and teeth as well. So I expect you to be able to use these tools that we're about to go over for sports pictures themselves. All right, there are 3 images we're going to use. You got this one, you've got the teeth one, and you've got the red eye one. Let's go ahead and start with the red eye one as of right now, just because it's going to be one of the most simplest ones in order to do. All right, so the first thing that we've gone over in Photoshop is pretty much this top section of tools. Let me go ahead and move this so you guys can see it. Right here, these top section of tools, which are all the selection sort of tools. Underneath these tools right now, you're going to actually see, looks like 8 of the enhancement tools that you can use to clean up, alter, or adjust your pictures themselves. If you go ahead and go to this first Band-Aid one, if you right-click, you will notice there are 5 healing tools, fixing tools, enhancement tools underneath there. Then you've got the brush tool. You got the clone stamp tool, which we will get to later, the art history tool, the eraser tool, and then, of course, your gradient paint bucket. Then you've got 6 tools that are going to kind of do the opposites of each other. You got blur tool, sharpen tool, smudge tool, and then you got dodge, burn, and sponge tool. All right. The ones we're going to concentrate on today are going to be right up here at the top. First off, with this red eye tool. If you right-click on your Band-Aid at the top, there is a red eye tool, and it is very simple. First off, do not forget to duplicate your layer. A lot of the problem that happens is when you do use this red eye tool, because it's going to pinpoint the red of the eye, if you zoom in, it might do too much of it or not enough of it. That's why you always want to go ahead and duplicate it. And it's as simple as clicking the eye, the red part of the eye. And that is literally it. So at any time you have any pictures with red eye, I know a lot of it happens from flash coming through. And then you got the whole anatomy of the eye. If you're doing it, you might get to a point where if you click, let me see if I can recreate it. Because I know, Steven, you've got that issue right now, right? Where you clicked it once and it didn't do the whole eye. Yeah. You might get it so where if you click on the light, it's only going to do half it. Just click the other half and it should fix it. All right. Again, you don't like it on the first click, just undo it and try clicking a new part of the eye. There you go. Pretty simple, yeah? All right, the next aspect we're going to want to do is we're going to want to bring out the white of the eye here, all right, or the color of it as well. Now, we've already done hue and saturation before, so if you want to go ahead and do a hue and saturation, feel free. Let's go ahead, go down to this little adjustment layer down here, and bring out hue saturation. Now, again, I didn't do my selection, but if I wanted it just for my eyes, I could select just my eyes. But remember, when you do this, it brings out a layer of it. And I'm just going to bring this up to make the blue of the eyes a little bit more blue. And then since our mask is white, we're going to take our brush tool, use it as black. And we're just very simply going to color over what we don't want to be affected by the hue and saturation. All right, it's a very faint effect, but you can see the eyes are a little bit more detailed as well. All right, next step that we want to do, we're going to go ahead and get off that hue and saturation layer, and let's go down to our copy, our actual layer of it. The next tool we're going to go over is this dodge tool. I think I showed us a little bit of this dodge tool before. Now, the dodge tool up at the top, guys, has all of its options. Right now, we're on midtones. There's midtones, shadows, and highlights. We're going to keep it on midtones. The exposure is like how much of the effect it's actually going to take. So if you take a gander, I'm going to make it so you guys can see the difference here. All right, I'm just going to make it crazy overexposed. I'm going to click once. All right, again, take a look at the difference. Oh, well, the eyes are on there. Let me see here. All right, it's going to brighten it as opposed to if I bring the exposure down. Barely even recognizable. So this is going to work according to how many clicks you do. So I'm going to bring it up to 50%. And I'm going to go roughly around the size of the eye. And I'm going to click around the whites of the eyes. Huh? Your caps lock is on. Yeah. If your caps lock is on, your brush size will not show. Now, you have to be careful, guys, when you do use the dodge tool. A little too much, you're going to get crazy overexposed, where your eyes are going to look not even close to being real. Like that even almost looks too much if you ask me. And the easiest way to tell, does it look real or not, is take a step away from your picture. Look at my screen. Her eyes are kind of freaky, aren't they? A little too white. All right, next one. Let's go ahead, hop over to teeth.jpg, this one right here. I'm going to duplicate my layer. Now, again, we've gone over hue and saturation. Now, there's a couple ways to do this. Yeah, you technically could just take the dodge tool and just keep brightening, 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 but you're going to lose a lot of detail when you do that. So we're going to go through a couple of things to see what we can do. All right, let's go ahead and adjust. Well, first off, let's select just the teeth. We can always go back and take out the mask. So I'm just going to grab my quick selection tool and I'm going to make a quick selection of the teeth. Don't worry if you get some of the lips, just hit Alt. I'll give you a minute to make your selection. If you get some of the gums, don't worry. You'll be able to fix that. All right, let's go up to hue and saturation. Let's see what we can do with that. So we can tell they're a little bit yellow. Let's see if we can take that yellow out. Let's go up to hue and saturation. All right, and under master slider right here, let's try this. If you click down this down arrow, there's ways that you can actually pinpoint certain colors to go ahead and take them out. All right, so if you go ahead, hit that master and go to yellows. All right, notice now with the slider for saturation, you go up, it's going to make the yellow really show up, kind of like a nasty type of like corn looking mouth. If you take that saturation down the other way, notice all the other colors and textures kind of stay there, but that tint of yellow starts to disappear. And this works with anything. If there was any type of blue in there or green in there, you can go up to where it said master and change that to the blue parts, to the green parts, cyan, and what have you. So this is a nice, easy way to go ahead and pinpoint one color and kind of just adjust that certain hue. So in this case, we went to yellow. We brought down the saturation. Like if I bring the saturation all the way down, it's got the whitest teeth you've ever seen, huh?
Oh, yeah.
That person right there. All right, now, if you wanted to do any more further enhancements, the thing you're going to have to do is go to this layer, the original. You just grab that dodge tool and you just click. Again, though, at this point, since we already pinpointed the yellows on the teeth are pretty good, aren't they? I think if you do any more dodge to it, it's going to go ahead and make them not even look real. Another way to do this is you could just add a black and white filter and adjust the brightnesses. But if you've got something like this, most colored people, most colored teeth are going to be yellow. So I think that's probably the easiest way to go about it. All right. Well, let's go ahead and go to the third and final image we're going to adjust or alter, which is this right here. Again, right click and duplicate layer. Now, in this image, what I want to go ahead and pinpoint, and this one's going to eventually turn into tomorrow's lesson, or actually Wednesday's lesson, is do you see all this bloodshot vessels in the eye? Sometimes not really attractive to most people to have in their pictures. So there's going to be a way that we can go ahead and adjust this. And the tool I'm going to show you right now is just the clone stamp. I know there's other ways to adjust, but this one right here we're going to try first. It's called the clone stamp. All right. And if it's the third tool down, if you right click on it, there's two. There's pattern clone stamp and clone stamp. If you've got problems remembering definitions or what tools do, take this down as a note. All right. In fact, I'm going to have you and your partner explore first, kind of talk about what this tool does and how to use it. And then I'm going to go over and give you an actual definition of it. So if you guys could, if there's 3 of you, use it. If there's 4 of you, pair off in 2s. I want you to explore with this clone stamp. What does it do and how does it work? You may talk while you explore. Anybody get the tool to finally work? There you go. So what's it doing? Huh? According to what? That's going to be the key point. Huh? According to a reference point that you set. Exactly. Go ahead and hit the lights again for me, please. When you hold down Alt, when you're on the clone stamp, you will see your cursor kind of turn into like a little pinpoint. It's all going to be the same size. All right, or like a crosshair. When you click once, that is your reference point. Everything's going to be based off that one reference point. So if I want to get rid of this little red lines, all these vessels, I notice there's a section right here that's pretty good in white. What I'm going to go ahead and do is hit Alt, and I'm going to click in this area right here. I'm going to shrink my tool a little bit more. And again, I'm on a soft brush. What I mean by that is my hardness is turned all the way down. I'm going to hold Alt on a good part of the eye. And then I'm just going to start painting over that eye. Now, what I mean by reference point is this. When you hit Alt, it's going to be like, all right, you want me to reference that point first. So now if I start drawing, notice at the same time that I draw, your crosshair hair is over here, and it's going to copy as you move. So this is kind of how people put like 30 eyes on people or a whole bunch of eyes or messed up teeth or whatnot. But we can use this to remove blemishes if we've got a good part of skin or the eye. So right here, again, nice piece of white eye. Make a nice little reference point. You might have to readjust that, what's it called, reference point, yes. Oops. Now, eventually, it's going to start looking like you altered it, and I'm going to show you how to fix that in a second as well. Oops. I know, Jerry, it can be annoying to constantly having to go back. You don't want to practice it? Because you're going to have an assignment in this. Well, that's why we practice it. Let's see if this thing will take some of it over. All right, so eventually what's going to happen is if you look up on my screen, you're going to see a whole bunch of like brush strokes, aren't you? From every time that I use that, correct? And that's going to start to get kind of dirty and nasty in a way. It's going to look not natural. So there's a couple other tools we can use to possibly help that as well. If you right click on your, it should be your red eye tool, the first tool, you're going to see a tool called the spot healing tool. I don't want that one. All right, and the spot healing tool allows you to select and paint over certain areas. And what's that going to do is it's going to take all the pixels and pigments from around the tool and kind of combine them together to kind of fix it. And you'll see it more when we go on to pimples and scars. We're going to use this tool as well for that. Oh, you don't want to do that. Too much area. And you can use the dodge tool, a little whiter. Oops. Could have been done better. See if you can go ahead and get that reflective light out of his pupil using the clone stamp tool. Now, do I expect you to take out the flash in someone's eye on your sports pictures? No. What I do expect is that you know how to use the dodge tool and brighten up the person's eyes, brighten out the whites. Now, this is crazy overdone because I just went nuts with it.